right,
Erroneous.
let's go ahead and talk about episode 4. We are back. I think we're just closing off on the Easter feast in the county of, forget the name, starts with the C.
I know where on the
Clarence,
map
County
we
of
are.
Clarence. There we go.
All right.
County of Clarence in the Duchy of Glevin. So, as a group, you've just completed an Easter feast. You got answers, not necessarily the answers you hoped for. I guess the answers you worried you might get, but for perhaps surprising reasons. Something to do with the West. Regardless, a couple of things we wanted to have a discussion with Lady Gwen. Another thing of note. I brought in a new icon. We shall bring in Brother Ione. This is your
Oh, Sir East Forest is
yeah,
his spiritual advisor.
His lazy monk. Yeah. We'll get him there because we've just invented a new character that we otherwise wouldn't have on the screen. So cool. All right, so Brother Round's there. We can start with that conversation. Is this gonna be just Brunius and Lady Gwen, or how did you want to approach that?
He would have gone up to her by himself, but if others come over, he's not opposed to it.
Okay. I'll leave that up to the others.
Like, he'd approach Lady Gwen.
Sir Brunius?
I was wondering what your plans were. Now that the feast is over, will you be returning to Lindenpool with us, or do you have someone else to escort you?
I had intended to return north with you.
Fantastic. Of course, you heard Uther's proclamation that we were to call upon your cousin, Corneus, for aid in defending from the Saxons.
I believe he granted you permission to do so.
Yes. But Prince Matic brought up an interesting idea when I was speaking with him. He brought up an idea of maybe collecting volunteers as we traveled north.
She nods
And
to that.
I wanted to get your opinion on how your cousin would take that. I don't mean to march an army into Lindenpool at all. I don't mean to be antagonistic or anything like that.
Just so I understand what you're asking in full, you are concerned perhaps that as to my cousin's reaction, should you bring a gathered retinue of volunteers through to the north?
Yes.
I don't think he would take slight to that. He may put into question volunteers that wouldn't spend their time aiding him directly. But I doubt he would say so out loud. She smiles.
Of course. I wanted to make sure, as you would know your cousin better than I. So,
She nods.
thank you for the insight you've afforded me.
Please do let me know if I can be of any additional assistance. It seems for now, though, that you have completed the task you've set out to see through.
We have merely completed a task that we were asked to do, not completed the orders we were given. We were told to find aid and return with it. And I plan on doing that.
She nods.
So, I also wanted to personally thank you for your aid in helping Thuris Forest. I appreciate it greatly.
It's the least I could do.
I disagree. The least you could have done would have been to stand back and go fetch a surgeon or anything like that. What you did was far beyond the call. And I thank you for saving my brother's life.
Your kind words are... well, they're well received, she says, with a smile.
Well, thank you. Hey, Bob, what day is today? Like, are we on a Saturday? Is Easter feast literally on Easter Day, sort of thing?
It would have gone through the week, so yeah, I think you're on. As much as we didn't like skip 2 weeks, it probably did in game, if that makes any sense. Like, trying to think how to do this. We established it was a Sunday. I think what it comes, yeah, I think what it comes down to is you'll be kind of expected to stay here throughout the week. So by the time you go to depart again, it would be the Monday after Easter. But the feasting and festivities kind of go through.
So we're staying for the week.
Effectively, yeah. Sunday would be when the feast is, and like when you would depart again. So.
Okay. Well then, if we're staying for the week, I don't need to worry about that. Then yeah, that's. And thank you for your time, Lady Gwen.
She would nod your way.
As I give her a nod back, and I return. I basically head over to where his forest is.
Perfect. All right. You reach his forest. Is Varys there as well?
Varys has pretty much kept to himself during the feast, outside of the company of the Lady Bryn that he had encountered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, all my geniality.
Right?
So, I get there and I take a big swig of wine. A wise man once said, "Never meet your heroes." I have to admit, I was not disappointed in meeting Uther. So, this is pretty good wine. I think I need a jug of this.
As far as I'm not sure if you're replying to this or if you're muted, maybe.
He is currently muted.
Oh, he hasn't been replying to this. He's been doing something else. He's been commenting on the wine and things, and Varys has been like pretty much being somewhat a little bit of the life of the party, at least in our section. His force has been looking over everyone else to kind of try to see the mood of the gathering, because yeah, it's a feast and everything, and it's pretty like it's a party, but they just found out that Uther plans on starting a campaign to the east, so he's trying to get the gauge of how people feel about that.
You can do an intrigue if you want on that. Starting it off right, are we?
Wow.
We're gonna have to tally these at some point. Like next time I go back through the stream, I'm just gonna see how many times you've rolled a 20 versus the times you've rolled like any other number.
Well, that is
Yeah,
number 6. Just from last
I
game
guess
and
I'm
this
just
game.
distracted. Yeah, I'm distracted because I'm trying to. They're not very as straightforward as Forrest would like. So he's kind of. It's hard for him to gauge because they're just a different culture. It's just he just doesn't understand them.
That makes sense.
I mean, they are Southerners.
And the Kimrick, a little different than the Romans.
We're not that different.
They sure are.
Am I walking around with 2 Romans?
No.
Okay,
Varys is a Kimrick.
there we go. We're not that different from the Romans. Heck, you've spent most of your time being raised by Kimrick. You should be used to us by now. Ah,
So how do we? So with the feasting and everything, have we? Everyone secure them where they're sleeping tonight, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that would all be accounted for. If you consider that guests from the north, not super luxurious.
Oh, sorry.
Guests. Oh, that was in
I didn't
character?
mean that in a serious way. Yeah, it was in character, and mostly he's trying to see who's trying to sneak into somebody else's bed tonight, so he knows who to look out for in case they don't show up.
I'm following. Okay, well then, in that case, I said nothing.
I believe suitable arrangements have been made. I don't know about you two, but I'm not here looking for a wife. I'm here to do a job.
Nobody has to be looking for anything. It's just we need to be aware. We've been on the road for a while, and we while we do have a lady amongst our company, she is someone we're here to protect and not see in that nature. So I understand that some have to let off steam in some ways. So I want to make sure that if they do decide to do that, he says mostly to our group of people that came with us, not just the other two PCs, but like their squires and the other of the retinue. He's essentially saying, "You guys have permission to party, but don't party too hard."
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if that's a conversation you want to have, you're the one who has to go have that. I want nothing to do with that conversation.
Just for clarity, anyone that has observed Varys for the evening with the feast while he was in the company with Bryn, it's pretty obvious that he is a very chaste individual. He's basically just keeping her company for the feast, keeping her, interested in that sort of deal. But that's about it.
Are you famously chaste?
No.
Oh, okay.
Close, but not quite yet.
I mean, it's weird. Barunius has a face and a personality made to chase skirts. He just has better things to do. And always has better things to do. You know?
Understandable.
Well,
So, go ahead.
let's get back. Let's enjoy this food, and then hopefully get an early to bed so we can get early to rise and work on training.
Training wouldn't sound too bad.
I need to work on my grip strength. It was not very good for me to have dropped my sword in my last fight, so I need to work on keeping a handle on that.
I could. Hmm.
I suppose it's a fair enough point.
Got a question, Bob.
Yep.
As King Uther and Prince Matic might be a little too far above my station to ask, is there anyone else here who is famously skilled with a sword that I might be able to talk to and see if they'd want to work with Esphorus in sort of training? Not to train him, but to work together to both better themselves.
That's not like a formal warlord.
Yeah, like someone a young knight might be able to approach, sort of thing.
Yeah. Let me just check something real quick. Check to the NPCs.
All of a sudden, we find out Lady Gwen has a 20 in swords.
Right.
He was secretly a fae this whole time.
No, not a fae, just secretly a master swordsman who has taught everybody in this room.
Yes, this person.
Eek.
He's a constable, so he has a formal role in King Uther's court, but he's not unapproachable.
Cool. I'd like to approach him.
Okay.
East Forest has expressed a desire to train, and I am not a suitable training partner. But if so, do we know anybody that can introduce me, or do I have to do the cold open?
Tough call. Tough call.
Brother Eon, have you perchance had a chance to meet Sir Argon?
I have not had the pleasure, though I know quite a bit about him.
What would be the best way to approach him?
Sir Argon is known to be rather direct, efficient, perhaps a bit grim. I can't say what his favorable method would be, but I can say that any attempts
Beating around the bush wouldn't work. Okay,
He nods.
thank you. I appreciate the counsel. And at that, I'm going to approach Sir Argan and wait for a
Argan.
lull in the conversation. Argan? Okay.
Yep.
Sir Argan, and if he's talking, I'll wait for a lull in the conversation.
All right. He appears to be talking to his lady. And there's a brief break, and you are left to speak. As you get close to his beautiful wife, though, I would like you to give me a chaste test, please.
Okay.
Hopefully, you don't fail and become like your idol Uther.
That would be funny, but no. I'm not playing that game.
Hey,
Crit.
look at that. You can tick it. You are able to just acknowledge a lady's beauty without having any sort of underlying urge or motive.
Considering I am used to being ogled by ladies anyway, I find we might be kindred spirits in that regard.
She is probably the most beautiful lady you have encountered.
Yeah. Kindred spirits. I nod to both of them.
He looks to you.
Sir
Brunius, yes? Malahaut?
Yes. Sir Ergon
You have it right.
of Malagad.
Close. Malagad is my father's name.
I apologize.
The app Malagad means son of, by the way. So Matic would be Matic App Uther. It's all good. It might have been
Darn.
how. I think it's amusing.
So, that is literally so Barunius did made that faux pas. And it's my apologies.
Can I help you, Sir Nate?
Well, I was hoping you might be able to. My brother, Sir Esforus, is quite well practiced with a sword, but he finds his skill, I won't say lacking, but he lacks faith in it.
Sirus Forrest is the son of a Roman. You are the son of a Kimric. When you say brother, do you mean that as
I mean that we have been inseparable since we children. Our families have been quite entwined for generations.
Well, then I understand exactly what you're referring to. Sorry, carry on. I interrupted.
No problem at all. As I said, he is quite skilled with a sword, but has been plagued by self-doubt recently. And I am not while I am not unskilled with a blade, I believe and hope that you might be willing to push him to a limit that I can't. Um, he was seeking to train in the coming days, and I was hoping that if you might be willing to help him and push him to a limit that I frankly cannot reach. And as the probably one of the greatest swordsmen in this room, if you're not too busy, I would be greatly appreciative.
I see. Well, I suppose I have a bit of time. I'm here for now until the muster.
I will admit, I was a bit surprised that Uther was calling a muster this day. I thought this was just his Easter feast.
I see. He says, give me an intrigue test.
Oh, nope.
Okay. Nope. Okay. He says nothing. He says, I see.
But I literally am not from around here, so of course I wouldn't have noticed or known. So.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have time and you are agreeable to it, I would greatly appreciate it.
I would be happy to.
Thank you very much. Sir? Ma'am?
They nod your way.
And with that, I take my leave. Back to Esforus.
And during all this, Varys can't help but watch as Irenaeus was approaching King's Constable and just observing. And he kind of slips up a bit with his attentions and excuses himself for the error and moves to join the other two.
You're gonna join Bernice and Esforus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically excusing himself for his, because he kind of got sidetracked.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
He doesn't want to be overly rude to the lady.
Yeah, give me a courtesies test and you can add your 11 geniality to it.
Okay.
From last game. There you go.
All right.
Okay, she seems to. You can make a note of her somewhere on your sheet as a reminder, because she now, like that was a favorable interaction.
Okay.
Yeah. And with that, let us go over to the trio as they get back together.
All right. You said you wanted to train. I don't think training alone would be the best idea. So, since I can't do anything to push you to the limits you need to be pushed to, Sir Argon has agreed to basically kick your ass. Excuse my language.
Have you arranged a formal duel?
Not a formal duel, just training.
Ferris arrives like just as he says he's like organized a meet for him to get his ass kicked, and just kind of chuckles at that because it's just like a random comment to hear as he approaches.
Like, I know how good S4S is, and I know the stories of Sir Argon. There's a divide there that S4S is going to have to cross. At least from the stories I've heard, so. You know.
Okay. So, this is just training. You
Just
didn't
training.
insult him and his wife, and I have to duel for you because
Now,
you can't do it yourself.
If I inadvertently insulted somebody, I would duel for myself. This is. You seem to be having a problem with your self-confidence. You would wipe the floor with me if I tried to help. So, I found somebody who can help.
Okay. So just to reiterate, this is not a blood feud. You
No blood feud.
aren't cursing his family or anything, because you know our histories with that are not the best.
No.
But okay, if it's just formal training, then that's fine. I'll see him when he's available.
Yes.
But for now, I'm going to get an early night, as I'm full and I don't need any more merry to make.
I mean, I'm the one who had to get up and speak in front of everybody.
And you did such a wonderful.
You didn't have to. You chose to, and I commend you for choosing to do so.
Were you going to do it?
Yes, but you chose to go up there first, so.
Now you tell me. Where was this magnanimous proclamation when we were trying to figure out who was going to go up there?
Well, we were still trying to figure it out, and then you decided to go yourself.
You took the initiative, it seems.
There is just a glare.
And to be honest, we did have a third who was supposed to speak, but unfortunately he needs rest.
Yes. Sir Nicholas was injured. I understand that.
Well, you certainly did well enough. You didn't seem to offend anyone. You still have your head. So.
We've gotten permission to seek help from others. We're not being driven out of this land. We're not at war with Uther, so. Merlin didn't turn you into a flea.
What?
Wait, can he do that?
That's what some of them were saying. Some of the ones that have had a bit much to drink were saying.
Merlin could have turned me into a flea?
All right. I think you might have had too much to drink.
Or whatever you're drinking. Let me have
I
some.
did not come up with these stories. These are stories I've been hearing from other people within the gathering.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I think it's time to turn in for the night.
Like, I'm gonna take some of this wine, because my nerves are still racked having to speak in front of Uther. And I'm still riding high on the fact that he actually seemed to respond positively to what I was saying. So I might stay a little while longer, but probably not much longer.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's go ahead and skip forward, I think.
Alright.
As far as, do you have any interest in playing out the interaction with Sir Argon at all?
Sure, I'd like to see if we, if one of us gets the better of the other or whatnot. I probably shouldn't say that with my rolls lately, but you know what? I'll try it.
You've got a 20 sword, right? You'll just crit all the time.
I got one less than a fumble.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be completely honest. Sir Varus be more than interested in seeing how this turns out, because his own personal prowess with a blade is severely lacking compared to the others he's traveling.
I mean, it's not that much worse than mine.
But it's worse.
Yeah, but what's your spear?
That's a
what's
different
important.
story.
All right. Well, why don't we just do this in rounds then? You can go ahead and, like, this is not intended for damage and stuff. So why don't you give me your sword test for round 1? Miss Forrest. Oh, interesting. Clash of Blades. Yep. They bounce off each other and then breaking. All right, so nothing's gonna be. Oh, sorry, I'm getting feedback through somewhere. Oh, that's better. Let's test again for the next round. I think the way this works is until you get to like scores of like 17 or 18 or 19 or 20, there's nothing like too impressive happening. Like most people could have rolled and succeeded at a 4. You know what I mean? So go to round 2. All right, so you start to see this guy's prowess this turn. Is you think you've kind of got a good position on him, but he manages to deflect and basically twist his body in such a way that you end up neck first against the blade of his sword. It's a fairly impressive move. You can tell a fairly impressive move. You can tell this guy is like a competent duelist as well.
His force is enjoying this a lot because 1, this guy's not Saxon, and 2, we're fighting with swords. and not spears.
That's fair. Let's go. We'll go 5 rounds. So round 3.
Round 3. Fight.
A bit of a slog on both your parts. All right, round 4. You got him for round 4. I'd say that's kind of your first real point where you got an upper hand move on him. And we'll finish her off with the final round.
My crit.
So there's good news in this. The bad news, we'll start with that. Sir Argan obviously wins the contest, as it were, but the point of it was to less about the glory, I think, at least from the way Barunius approached it, and more about learning. Do you have a Tickin sword yet?
I do not.
Okay, you do now. So you can check sword.
Cool.
And then I want you to test. It's not humble. I think it used to be humble. What's it called? Modest. Okay. I think with that pass, you're not a sore loser, and so I'll allow you to tick modest if you haven't yet.
I have it ticked, but I do approach him afterwards and let him know I appreciate the combat and the learning experience.
You know what I'll do?
Because the more I learn to wield a sword, the better I can kill Saxons.
He would nod to that. You can tick honor if you don't have that ticked. I think you lost a point anyway, so.
No, I lost the point of honor.
Oh, that's right.
We both lost a point. We both lost
Oh,
honor because we went melancholy.
It was that.
Yeah, it was super good. He would say, it's good to prepare in case, as I understand it, we're both approaching warfare this year. It's best that both of us wipe the rust off, as it were. Now
To be able to see each other again for a fight.
He nods. Perhaps another spar. Another time. All right. Going to step away for 1 minute. I will be right back.
Cool.
You feel better now, As-Forest?
I've already been feeling better, but I do feel more energized than normal.
Last night you were sounding a little bit more defeated.
No, it's just I'm looking ahead at the things that we'll have to do and the battles that we'll have to fight, as well as escorting the lady for now.
Quite.
I wanted to make sure that you had a chance. The men in that room several men in that room are counted among the best on the whole island. And you were among them in skill. Part of that was to sort of show at least one of them where you stand. The rest of that was to make sure you understood where you stand.
Yes.
which is above a good portion of us. We mere mortals only pretend to know things about the sword. As Barunius kind of chuckles after keeping a straight face for a few seconds after saying that.
Okay. Okay, so I think we need to figure out where the plan is from here, like what you guys want to do.
I mean, while we're here, the plan is, I guess, rest, relax, and plan for our return trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should hit like all the towns and villages all the way back up to Lindenpool to see about garnering volunteers to help us defeat the Saxons coming to invade.
Is something you guys want to socialize in character with each other?
I am good to do that.
Don't have to. It's. I guess I'll leave it up to the three of you on how you want to. If you want to turn it into a bit of a scene, might be good actually.
I like it because it allows us to get an idea of what
Yeah, I agree.
we're thinking.
Mm-hmm. I do agree. Why don't we do that then?
Tactically speaking, it's going to take longer for us to get back if we do this. But when we do return, we will be returning with forces to speak of.
And the seeking aid was your assignment from your lord.
Our assignment was to ask Uther for aid. Uther is unable to give it. Uther gave us permission to ask Corneus about aid. Maddox gave me the idea to gather volunteers on the way back. That way, aid is provided.
Mm-hmm. And which route do you plan on taking back to do this? We need to figure out how to get the most possible support on our way.
I mean, neither as Forrester and I are rich knights.
Well, you did say you were looking for volunteers.
Yeah. And then maybe depending upon how many we can find, we could see about pulling our money together to hire a few mercenaries, but I don't see that working out too well.
Expensive business, that is.
Yeah, I don't know if Heraut I don't know if Heraut would be willing to part with the librum necessary for that. And unfortunately, I can't ask him. So, that's where I'm at.
Messenger birds aren't a thing, are they?
No, Messengers would be, but not messenger birds. Yeah.
I can't read, so I can't write a letter to Nicholas. To Sir Nicholas, to see if he could start massaging the ego of the Lord in Linden while we're on our way there.
Brother Ivor says, well, if that's all you need, I can write it for you.
Okay, then yes, we should send a letter to Sir Nicholas to out of character. Do we know? Can Sir Nicholas read? Do we know if he can or not?
I mean, he is our chief diplomat of Malahaut. I would hope he could read.
He can read.
And
Okay.
if not, I'm sure a clergyman in Lindenpool would be happy to do so for him.
Mm-hmm. Then we'll send him a letter because I'm sure it would get there ahead of us of that we're planning to seek volunteers, but also to see if he can make any headway with the Lord of Linden.
It's well known that Corneus hates Malahaut just as much as he dislikes Uther, but
still, is such hatred going to be enough to sway him to go against the suggestion of Uther?
I don't know.
If it's worded properly, you could probably kind of encourage his support.
I believe we will need Nicholas for that. So yes, let's send that letter to Sir Nicholas and get that started. Do we know where? So we know our general route back. Do we know where the towns are where we might be able to drum up recruits? We're not Uther. We can't conscript anybody. Best we can do is ask for assistance. So do we know?
I'm sure the lady in our company would know where such places would be best at. And we're going to have the time, as we will have to take our time to try to persuade any that we encounter. That'll give time for the letter to be sent and received.
True.
Okay. So I guess is intrigue, gather information to see which places would probably be the best for us to go towards.
I was going to ask if we could kind of ask around.
I mean, I'd be asking Lady Gwen.
I'd be asking probably a little bit shadier sorts myself, but yeah.
Yeah, as far as his force would be doing it, he would be more of a essentially seeing who isn't super committed to going west right now, and which of those are like the northerners. He's basically trying to see which of the people up north seem to not be as committed to the western campaign as others, so that maybe they might be more committed to a northern campaign since it's closer to them.
I will allow each of you to make either a battle or a intrigue test. You can't do both. And
I will gladly do battle.
I will choose intrigue myself.
I'm better at battle, but I'll go intrigue just to see what happens.
I failed.
I succeeded.
As did I.
And I can easily chalk up my failure to it being my first time in the area and not quite understanding those around.
all right, I'm going to kind of give you guys what you're able to ascertain together, rather than direct scenes. Here's the lay of the land that you get. So right now, Uther is here. And it sounds like their plan is to march south, so they're either coming through Gentian and Salisbury, or they're going through the Kingdom of Sutherland, which is actually a county now, to head towards the Duchy of Cornwall. That kind of makes Cornwall out of the mix, and it makes the King's Court in the Duchy of the Vale, a lot of the king's sort of loyal subjects, including a large portion of the Duchy of the Vale, have committed to this muster here in Cornwall. On top of that, a lot of these southern counties have also committed to representation. So that kind of rolls out the south, right? Those that haven't are probably the ones remaining in garrison against the South Sea Axe in Kent. When we go up further north, we have the new Saxon shore area, which is now solidified, kind of forming as if it were a kingdom, and that makes its borderlands pretty hard pressed for service. Right?
Okay.
Then you have the Duchy of Lindsey, who are said to are committing against the Saxons to the north and the east, right? Because there's risk of both.
Yep.
So that's where, the Duke of Lindenpool is likely focusing his efforts. Out west, they always serve garrison against the hill tribes in Gomerith up here. Because, not only are there Irish invaders, there are the hill tribesmen which like to wreak havoc. So basically, that doesn't leave you with a ton of what you're realizing is there's probably not a huge muster of men just sitting idly, but if they are, places like Ridichan and Tribute are probably your best bet. There's also, I think I'll add this for Esphorus. There's also Bedegrin, which historically was a Cumbrian kingdom. So it's possible, that you could appeal to their sense of northern heritage to try and make a difference.
The fatherland calls for you.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Now, most of the people that are there are, have had about, I'm doing the math. Yeah, 8 years or so of being considered part of Logres, the county of Logres. But it is an option. I'll just throw it out there for interest.
So I guess sticking together, I propose that we go like this. To hit all those places to see if they'll send some people.
Ferris seems to study that for a bit. That route and Eventually, he agrees, especially noting the stop in Pendragon.
No need to stop in Pendragon?
No, with the need to.
Oh.
Sorry, if I'm
Well.
being silent, I'm just making sure that you'll have an opportunity to talk this out. I don't really have an NPC skin in the game right now.
So, Ridichan, Treebelt, Pendragon are probably our best shot.
Yes.
Well, if those are our best shots,
Best we prepare for such a trip, then, huh?
Would the lady be this is a little bit of extra time to get back to Linden, but would the lady be all right with this trip?
that's the next question.
Let's see. Yep. She seems okay with it. She understands that there's a need and that this is important to your quest as it is. Which sounds a bit like a video game term, but probably actually has its origin in Arthuriana, so ha!
Huh.
Alright. So anything else you want to do in preparation before embarking?
Varys has done all that he can really do right now.
Make sure the brother has all the items he needs before we set foot to travel.
Make sure the lady has everything she needs. Make sure we all have. In fact, that's what Barunius is doing. He is double checking all equipment, items, food, everything for everybody. Making sure all the men have a chance to train. In fact, I am actually going to sit down with Leo, my squire,
Okay.
and have a conversation with him. The conversation is less. It's more along the lines of there's no passion, there's no anger. It's, I have been teaching you not just to follow orders, but to learn how to give them. You are getting to the point where you are ready for your knighthood. So from now on, if you ever see me floundering like that again, or your brother floundering like that, you have my permission to take charge. Because that's what I assume you were thinking when I was floundering during that ambush, that you didn't have permission to take charge. And so I'm giving you that permission. I haven't been training you to follow and sit idly by as leaders crumble around you. You are a knight. And as such, I need you to start acting more knightly.
All right, I'm trying to think what to have you test. Give me your test just for me, please.
All right. And I fumble it.
Interesting. Test.
So obviously, I am still beating myself up, and apparently I am looking for scapegoat.
Test arbitrary for me.
Oh, wow.
All right, tick arbitrary for me. I think
Because Leo's 19 years old.
yeah, he's soon to be a knight, and I think it's an interesting take, but I think what this might be is just, technically he could never be knighted, right? Like that's a very real possibility for a squire, and not all of them achieve knighthood. And giving him those rights sort of give him rights to do something before he's licensed to do them, do them before he's sworn his oaths, which you intended as a positive thing. Like, we need every able body to step up. But I think the call is not like the just call, if that makes sense.
It sounds more like I'm playing favoritism for him than anything else.
I think it sounds more like you're doing what is necessary versus what is just.
Okay. Fair
You're
enough.
moving the pieces on the board appropriately, but you're doing so in a way that's not necessarily following the etiquette of the process, right? Of becoming a knight.
Yep.
Is that fair? I didn't expect a 1 in 20 chance to fumble. I should have, with how things worked out so far this campaign, but
I didn't expect to fumble my just either, considering it is my most famous.
It was famous, yeah.
Trait.
Mm-hmm. And then to pass arbitrary, if you didn't pass arbitrary, I probably would have had you not tick it, But
yeah.
It worked as it is, so.
Obviously, I'm being arbitrary in this. So, yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. I don't have the deadline I normally do tonight. Where are you guys at as far as time? When do people need out of here? Like, how much longer can you go time wise?
I don't have a deadline.
My time.
Sorry, we'll start with S4S. How much longer you got?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, how much?
My cat will start yelling.
How much longer do you have?
To play or just
like
a drill? Okay, like hour 15.
Hour 15, perfect. We'll go to Brunus next.
I don't have a time limit.
Okay.
I'm off tomorrow. I got nothing to do.
Drax, what about you?
Midnight would be the latest possible.
Okay. And that's quite a ways away. It's more than an hour 15, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go an hour and 15 more.
It's currently 9:45 for me.
Yeah, okay. We'll go an hour 15.
Okay.
So the plan is to do. You're in Clarence. Are you going to cut from Clarence over through Gentian?
I think it was straight to Ridichin, wasn't it?
Ridichin?
If we cut to Gentian, like you didn't mention Gentian in the southern.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. So it's
So
not the best, not ideal. So Ridichin would be your first.
yeah,
Okay. So I'm just plotting a course for you. Okay, give me about 2 minutes, folks. We're gonna take like a quick break. Feel
Okay.
free to stretch, use the washroom, whatever, and then we'll come back and we'll knock out the rest of the session from here.
Sounds good.
all right.
Okay, take care.
I'm back.
That makes two of us.
All right. Nightly life is such a stressful life, huh?
I don't know. Not too stressful. It's only really stressful when I fail to protect somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities for that to happen.
I've already failed once. I really don't want to fail at protecting somebody again. Because that threw me into a melancholy of like the player instituted the melancholy, not the roles. So
Yeah.
so
Do we have everyone back?
East Forest is muted, so I don't know.
Yeah, a couple of us are back. I don't think Forest is back yet.
I'll give him a minute.
So I've been playing Midnight Suns,
How's that going?
and well, it's my second playthrough. I'm playing on a harder difficulty, and I'm trying the Deadpool storyline for the first time. Not going great.
I do want to play that eventually, for sure.
It's fun. It is very similar to XCOM. Except that there is a card element to it. So like right now I've built the main characters like straight single target damage. And yeah, that seems to be Deadpool's shtick when you first get him. And apparently they
I'm back. I thought we were waiting for something else.
Oh, okay.
I've been
No
busy
problem.
making sure like somebody doesn't like kill themselves jumping off of this desk.
Oh, good.
That's fair.
Yeah, because she's too chubby to make jumps like that.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right, let's get started here. Do one thing. Okay, so I think what we'll get from the lot of you as you start your path backwards. Okay, I'm gonna try something fun here. I was debating this, but I think I'm gonna do it.
all right.
I really like the rules for Adventures in Middle Earth. There's some really cool travel kind of rules. But the nature of this game and the way it's been going, I think it'd be interesting. One sec. Okay, there we go. So I think it'd be interesting to do something like it. So we're going to have there'll be 4 different roles, and you can assign her to one of them. One of them is going to be lookout. Their primary job will be, when I call for an awareness test, they'll be the one who gets to check on that. First and foremost, there'll be the guide. The guide is primarily responsible for ensuring the way forward. They are the one making the rolls to see whether or not people get lost. The hunter, we'll call them, they're the one ensuring that the food's looked after if it's needed, the camp's set up, all of that stuff. And then finally there'll be I don't know what to call that one. I think we'll just call it like the commander. So that's who's actually rolling. They're in charge of like if there's any skirmishes, they'll be playing the lead role in the skirmish. They also, when there's calls for battle tests, they'll be the one battle testing. So basically 2 hunting roles, for lack of splitting it up at all. Well, the guide might be like hunting and folklore. It depends on what's needing to be done. The hunter is almost always like a hunting role, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to get one of you in each of those roles. So hunter, guide, commander, and lookout.
Lost Boys rolls. I am sitting on a 16 battle. Is anybody higher than that?
Nope.
All right, then I guess I'll take commander.
17.
No.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
but it comes down to
Right. What's the other skill spread looking like?
yeah, exactly.
10
I
awareness
don't have
for me. And hunting's
folklore.
7. And folklore is a 2.
Well, our guide can do that. She was a pretty good guide before.
Yeah.
My hunting's 11,
Mm-hmm.
and my awareness is a 10.
Yeah. My hunting's a 7. Awareness is 10.
I guess
Okay.
you be lookout and I'll be hunter.
Sure. Probably the best bet.
You know what? I could let you do battle because my awareness is 15.
Okay.
Yeah, but then who do we have to do the hunting roles?
Me at a 7.
Oh
Yeah.
wait. Oh, hunting. I could do. What's your bet? What's your awareness? Sorry.
Mine's only
10.
10.
Okay. You both have 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and what was your hunting, Bert?
11.
Okay. Fine, then I'll just do battle. The hunting would barely be different. So yeah, I'll do battle and then let you guys do your thing.
Okay.
I mean, switching it up would barely change anything because you're only one higher than me on battle, and let me guess, one higher than me on hunting,
Yeah, I have 12 in hunting. Yeah.
one better at everything I do, but spears.
Okay.
No clue.
See here. So I just need. So general idea is Ridichin, Tribuate, Lamber, Betagrain back into Lindsay. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Some of that. So what you're able to put for like understand about that is sometimes you'll be going on like formal trade roads, such as the dotted lines that I showed you the last time. Other times you'll be entirely on forest trails with the way you're going. Like this will be a lot more off-road than your trip down here.
Okay.
All right. And I believe I gave her like a 15, right, in guide or in her guide rolls before.
Something
So
like that.
It was pretty decent.
yeah. So we'll give her a 15. I'm gonna have you guys roll for her when it's her turn or her action.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So we got everyone covered. Okay. Couple of days. Okay, someone give me a it's really a coin toss at this point. Give me a D20 roll. Just one person.
16.
16. Okay. Okay, and then someone else, please give me a D8. Someone other than Brunius. Okay. Okay, so you start off on the trail. I need Drax. Why don't you give me a D20 roll?
All right. $14.
Okay. And then I just gotta check one thing here.
All right. We're on the road again.
Yeah, feel free to do
Making
some random like
progress
interactions
on the
with each
road
other for a few
again.
minutes, just while I finish looking up this one piece here.
I feel much better not being in feast mode anymore.
I can agree with that. Most comfortable out on the road. Or the trail, as it be.
Trail, road, not much of a difference.
The path to another location, either way.
So, I just want to say, getting to talk to Uther was probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, that was awesome. Sorry, I just felt it had to be said.
No, I understand. Yeah. I suppose I just don't have the same enthusiasm about such things.
It's less having enthusiasm about getting to talk to a king and more the enthusiasm of getting to talk to one of your heroes.
Understandable.
So, like, my father would tell stories of marching with Aurelius to kick out the Saxons when he was a knight. How he and Uther and Merlin all went over to Ireland to go grab the sacred stones.
As I said, it's understandable. My experiences are a little bit more conflicted, I suppose.
I mean, I've heard rumors that he's like just a warmonger and stuff, but I mean, what king isn't rumored to be a warmonger?
That's one way to look at it, I suppose. As I said, it's just difficult for me to look at something so I lack the term for it. Just my experiences of such things have been quite different than some, I suppose. It is good to be traveling back north, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Back closer to home for myself.
How long have you been away from Malahaut?
Far too long. Years.
Well, where in Malahaut are you from? Maybe we have news of what's been going on since you've been gone.
I'm from Ripon.
Ripon? Okay.
Yes. I haven't seen it in quite some time.
I should clarify. So as you're traveling, in your stopping through these ports to try and recruit, what is your method for what is your pitch going to be? Like, how are you? Is this an oratory thing in each stop, where you're trying to convince more knights to ride north?
Not just knights. Like if we can get knights, great. But otherwise, we'll take just about everybody. At least that's my plan.
Would there be any way of using courtesy to kind of help in an oratory type sense? Because, like, following etiquette and stuff. I don't know if that would really work. I'm just curious.
It does in certain scenarios. Your best bet.
Portly set.
Yeah. Your best set when you're looking at doing oratory is if you want to compose something. If any of you have a high enough compose, and you succeed at compose, like if you draft something, you could then have the person who's orating it just simply recite the composed,
Right.
like speech, and it gives you a +5 to your orate.
Like, nothing hurts to try and compose something.
Oh, I
But,
imagine it could end pretty bad.
it could always.
Yeah.
But no matter what we do, it could always end badly. So, for the most part, yeah, I mean, orating, talking to people and convincing them, like intriguing in
Would being
certain.
valorous assist in that at all? Since it's pertaining to battle and such.
It could add to your reputation in a scenario. I think in most cases, though,
Give me a skill roll.
Yeah, it's more of a skill roll. What do any of you have a particularly high glory?
No.
I mean, my glory is 2142.
Okay, I'll give you just a general, I think, +2 to this.
All right.
Do you guys want? Are any of you good at compose? Who's the
No.
best
I got a
compose?
4.
Anyone have above a 5?
No, I don't.
Okay.
My aura is
Alright.
5.
The lady could potentially.
Well-
you know who probably could as well.
The monk
Mm-hmm.
or the brother. Yeah.
See, I was like, if they want to write something for me, I will gladly take whatever they write. But my plan is to passionately recruit people who also hate Saxon.
Okay, why don't you take that approach? I think it's more interesting. You add your +2 to it, though.
Oh, talking?
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna test them. So you're gonna go through Barbary, which is, I was just looking on the map. You are gonna briefly dip down into Gentian, just because that's the safest road. Otherwise, you're just traveling through random forests and crossing river fords, without bridges.
Yeah.
Like, if you cross into Gentian, you can hit Barbary and then up into Vidichin.
Okay.
And then keep going from there.
I can most certainly do that.
Okay.
Anybody drafting anything before I start?
Varys isn't. No, not even close.
All right.
I mean, the only thing he would possibly do is try to spot any notable figures.
Okay. Cool. So, I'm impassioned for this because I hate the Saxons. Plus 7. Nope, I fail. I fail by 1.
Okay.
So my rolls were like tonight earlier.
So Barbary doesn't go particularly well. We're gonna go to as we continue on. We're gonna check again in Ridichin. So go ahead and test again, Brunies.
Okay. Anybody composing anything?
Sorry, I cannot read nor write.
I can do both, but I'm horrible at the composing.
Isn't your orate like a 10?
What are you talking about? I don't have orate. You're thinking my entry.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, my orate's only a 5.
All right. I hate Saxons. I crit on hating Saxons.
Oh, interesting. That goes up by 1
Yep.
automatically.
So now it is a 16.
And with a 15, just looking at the rules. Oh, they're not on that page. Let me check the feast rule. 15. What happens when you crit on a 15? Just inspired, so just a +5. But from now on, if you roll that, the 16 will give you a +10 in the future if you crit.
All right.
All right. So
And I succeed.
in Ridichin, a couple of knights come forward, as do a few esquires and sergeants. So sergeants are like military units on horse, but they're not knighted. They're not riding war horses. They're not armored like knights are.
No problem. No problem. We are not discriminating.
Yep.
We welcome all of them with much gusto.
Perfect. They're considered cavalrymen, non-noble, horsed warriors, basically.
I am going to basically, I'm gonna go up to Brother Ion and, hey, I am just barely, I don't talk well. Often talk well. Could you maybe draft something for me to read so that I can maybe speak more eloquently or get speak better? Because I'm doing this off the top of my head and not going great. It's not going poorly, but it's not going great either. And as we grow, I kind of don't want to endanger what we're trying to do here.
Okay. So you asked that. He basically he'll grant you that. You can have a +5 in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is hate holding?
Hate's a holding of some type.
Ah, okay, cool.
So, all three of you, give me some general, because you're traveling with these folks and you probably meet and greet them. So there's Sir Turfel of Sarum. So he's from Silcha or Salisbury. No, Estragales. I think that's better because he's outside of Logris. He's a knight from from Cambria to the west. Then there's Idris and Angor, who are brother mercenaries and sergeants. So they're horsemen, but they're not knights.
Okay.
Not brothers. We'll just say they're cousin mercenaries and knights. They're both from Caerwend and Caercolin, which is the Saxon shore.
Okay.
And I want you all to test me some intrigue as you kind of are interacting with them at the first bit.
No problem. I succeed.
I did as well.
Berenice, if you don't have that checked, you may check it.
Woot.
Though I'm pretty sure you have law checked probably, and I think intrigue covers law.
I don't have law.
Oh, it's Berenice, right? I got you guys mixed up. Yeah.
That's Forrest.
For a second. Yeah. Interesting. So Berenice, yeah, you can check intrigue. Actually, anyone who doesn't have it ticked can take it here. This is like an important moment. You get the impression that they didn't, the cousin mercenaries, the cousin sergeants, they didn't really show like they knew Sir Turfel when they came up and volunteered, but you start to get the impression that the three of them have been working together for some time. And you get the impression that Sir Turfel is more like a hedge knight. Like he doesn't show a lot of there's a lacking to like his capability, his armaments are bruised and beaten. He makes Sir Varys look rich. Right? So
Sir Varys is definitely quite suspicious of the situation.
okay. Anything you want to say or do, or continue on the journey?
So, I'm gonna invite Turfel to ride alongside me for a while we're traveling.
Okay. They'll ride
Sir
alongside you.
Varys will travel with the sergeants, Idris and Angor, and just kind of chat with them briefly, just kind of get a feel for things.
Sir Turfel, have you seen many engagements?
Yes, previously.
Oh,
Long ago, I fought in a battle that Uther was present for.
interesting.
Yes, indeed. Vortigern's son, Hashent, he died at that battle. He was slain.
I see.
From there, I traveled to the east and participated in the campaign in Caerwent and Caercolin, the Saxon shore.
I've heard about that one. Nasty business.
Indeed, indeed. No short of business out there, until recently, that is, with them having taken over the land and all.
Have you fought many mainland Saxons? I must admit, the only Saxons I've really encountered are from Deira and Nohaut.
Many?
But-
Oh no, not. I wouldn't say many. But yes, even the ones in Deira and Nohaut.
I've fought them plenty of times, but they've received new reinforcements from the mainland, so I was hoping with your experience you might know something of how the mainland Saxons think, act, or fight.
I think they all fight the same. Lacking honor.
Well, that's good.
They are brave, though. And some might even say fearless. I do not think there'd be too much difference. Saxon is a Saxon, I'd say.
Well, what do you think about the forces we've put together so far? Not nearly enough, but it's what we got so far.
It seems you have a good company here.
Including Idris and Angor? They come from that Saxon shore.
Indeed. Many travelers do. Many are displaced now.
Fair enough. I still feel we may need to keep an eye on them. There's a difference between being from the Saxon shore and traveling through there.
Perhaps you are right.
And while I'm calling into question, like, the sergeants, like, whether or not they can be trusted, does Turfel, like, show any sort of tells, like, he might not be super comfortable or somewhat reserved or anything like that?
Intrigue test.
Yep, I failed.
Hard to say.
Yep. Okay.
He has a deceitful of 13, by the way. As rolled randomly of a buff.
Yeah. I mean, my deceitful's not much better or worse.
He seems to go along relatively simply. Doesn't seem to be too emotionally invested in any mention to them in particular.
Okay. Cool.
Drax, is there anything in particular, Varys, you want to do as Varys with Idris and Angor?
Nah, it's more that he's just trying to just socialize with them, soldier to soldier, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Given that he's fought Saxons and stuff before him as well. I think it was around that area too at one point.
You've been up there for sure in your campaign.
Yeah.
So,
it's more of just trying to see what they kind of give up and see if he can kind of piece it all together. Because Varys is suspicious by nature.
I'll give you another intrigue test on that.
Okay.
Okay. You get the impression that I'm trying to think of how to put this. What's your suspicious?
Let me see here. It's at 11.
Okay, yeah. So not insanely high, but I think I think you get the impression, like, for all you know, they can be dangerous, right? Sergeants can, because if they're not tended to as part of a local army, they're like a mounted band. They could be a mounted bandit just as easily, right? They could be, and mounts are a key difference that separates knights from commoners, so it puts them somewhere in that awkward, messy middle. Um, that being said, I don't think you get the impression, though they might be a bit scoundrelish in nature, that doesn't seem to resonate. There's no red flags past the red flags you'd get if you gathered a handful of mercenary knights together. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what I was looking for. I was trying
Yeah.
to get a general vibe
Yeah.
from them. Yeah.
Yep. I think
Okay.
that's the vibe you get. And then is
Thank
there
you.
anything from Isforus that you want to know?
Mostly he would want to see how well at least the new people seem to slot into like the formations and how things are running. He's trying to make sure that there's not too much friction there.
Okay. They seem to you can tell they're not age old battle test actually. You are the battle test person after all. Okay. You get the impression that they are not greenhorns. Like they have some battle experience, but you can also tell that they haven't served a lot in the way of like an organized uh, cavalry. Like clearly they have predominantly done more like skirmish. They have more experience in skirmishing than they probably do in actual battles.
Okay, cool. And I will try to help make sure that they fall into the correct step that they need to.
Okay. Perfect. So with that in mind, you continue on. I need a D6 from someone.
$46. What?
Just a D6. All right. It is a nice like clear. The weather is clear and without really any complication thus far. It's been a rather good trip.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So as you continue on, you find yourself. You met them in Ridichin, so you're heading towards Oxenford, which is in Ridichin. You know that you're going off trail at this point. And actually, I'm going to give you an option to decide here. So after Oxenford, you could head towards St. Albans, which will put you even further out of the way, and then get back on the main road from there. Or you can go through a fairly thick forest into Tribuet and actually hit Tribuet Castle, which is off of the main road. So do you want to hit Tribuet Castle and go off road, or do you want to kind of go a bit out of the way and hit St. Albans and then get back like on the main road proper?
I kind of want to hit Tribute Castle.
Tribute Castle?
Tribute Castle.
Okay. Any opposition
But
to
I'm
that?
one person.
Ferris
No.
is fine with that.
Not unless the brother says that we need to go see the saint.
No, I think he would talk about it, but I don't think he would try and persuade you to head there. You'd talk about St. Albans. Okay. So, as you reach Oxenford by nightfall, and it's rather dark here. The forest is quite thick, and you find yourself at the gates with your retinue. We're gonna play this scene out a little bit.
Hail and well met.
Who goes there?
I am Sir Brunius of Malahaut. May we have lodging for the night?
You hear whispers. Did you say Malahaut from the north?
I did.
Then why do you ride from the south?
We are returning from our meeting with King Uther.
Whispers again. Very well. Come. You may enter and partake in the hospitality of the Baron of Oxenford.
Much appreciated.
Okay.
And we enter.
You can tell the men kind of look you over rather suspiciously.
I mean, I'm not hiding anything.
Okay. When you all are ready, you may stable your horses, and we will take you to treat with our Baron, our Lord.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
I greatly appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
Ferris nods into agreement with that. And wastes no real time trying to get his horse and everything stabled for the night.
I do go up to Varys and I keep this a little low. But Sir Varys, if you might do me a favor.
If it's within my ability, then of course.
Would you be willing to keep an eye on Sir Terfel and the two brother mercenaries?
I will do what I can. Certainly. You suspect something?
Suspect, yes. Have proof? No.
I see.
And I'd like to trust them, but you should always verify those you trust.
Very well. I'll do what I can.
Most gracious of you. You have my
Sure.
thanks. And then, Lady
Who-
Gwen, I believe now would be a good opportunity to, well, I guess now we can go meet the Baron.
Okay, so just to clarify, who is going to see the Baron?
Sir Barunius is. I figure Lady Gwen would be coming with me. I
Okay, let's stop there. Who else is coming?
Sir Varys will be doing as he was asked and keep an eye on Sir Treffel
Yeah.
and mercenary sergeants.
And what about as first?
If it didn't take too long to get their men to settle, then his force would be there. Otherwise, if it's going to take a while, he'd be making sure the men got settled and had their horses and things stabled.
Yeah, it doesn't take too long to get settled.
Yeah,
So-
then he'll be there.
Okay. Before you know it, you are brought into audience with Baron Sir Gwithier, Baron of Oxenford. He speaks up. My name is Sir Gwithier, and it is my understanding that you ride from Malahaut.
That is correct.
Well, this one certainly looks Roman. What about the two of you?
This is Lady Gwen of Linden. Specifically Linden Pool.
He looks at
We
her.
are escorting her home.
Yes. Cornelius's cousin. Forgive me. These days I am less trusting to those visitors that partake in our hospitality. Especially when they travel with known banditry. Please seize them all. With that, a number of escorts in, a number of guards come out with pole arms. And they start to surround you. And with that, we're going to fade to black. And to be continued.
Oh boy, what an ending there.
Yeah, so just so you know, you
That's my
guys
fault.
totally randomly rolled this scenario. So
Oh no,
We'll see.
that's cool.
we'll see where this goes. It should be good. It should be a good time though.
Who knows? Maybe we'll even turn it around and convince him to march with us.
There you go. All right. Any thoughts or feedback? I felt like tonight was a little bit slower going, but I hope everyone still had a good time.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had fun. I seem a little slow. It's just because I'm trying to catch up with all the different locations and stuff.
Understood. Yeah, I made it. I didn't do my best job at interpretation or just in general tonight. I felt a little off, but all right. Sounds good. You're still good to go. As far as everything worked for you tonight.
Yeah, everything was cool tonight. I think I have to kind of go off now because I'm getting a little tired.
Yeah, all good. We're gonna stop anyways. All right. Take care.